How's it going, everybody? In today's tutorial, we're going to be going over how to use the sales feeds. Now, this is going to be a brief overview of how to use it and what the different functionalities are, and you can hopefully use that to export whatever you would need in your system. Now, in the future, we're going to make more specific videos showing exactly what to do in the 3 different kinds of feeds and different situations when it would benefit you to use them. But this is going to be kind of the crash course on it, and then you'll be able to use this to get whatever information you need out of it. So, in the top right here, we're going to select sales channels, and it's going to open this currently blank screen that there will be more things on in the future. But in the top left, we're going to go to feeds. Now there are 3 different feeds here. We're going to concentrate on one today. There's item exports, inventory exports, and recycling exports. All of them are pretty much the same. It just changes what information is available. So inventory exports is going to be what you actually have line by line, and recycling exports is going to be lot numbers and entire pallets of items that have come into the warehouse. So let's open up inventory exports here. And these are all the feeds that are already in the system. Any of these could be edited, or you could download the information that they already have configured in them right from the screen by simply selecting download actual or download saved. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new feed. I'm going to hit new feed up here, and we're going to name it. So let's name this demo feed. Now that's going to be the name of it. Anytime it's emailed or exported, that's going to be what it's titled, and that can be changed in the future. But we're going to hit next here. And this brings us to our mappings. Now, mappings you're going to think of as the naming of your columns in your Excel spreadsheet. So if you export make, model, and serial number, that's going to be the 3 different columns, and all the information is going to be populated in those columns. So there's 2 different file formats. There's the CSV, which is a kind of text file with all the information in it separated by commas. That's used in particular formats if you need it, but we're going to change this over to Excel, which is the more common way that it would be used, and then you would be able to export that and send it to customers or inside of your company as needed. So we're going to make 3 fields here. I'm going to hit new field 3 times, and these are our fields. So it's important to note that you can name these whatever you want. So I can make this make, and then over here I would say model. So I can have it named make and have it attached to model, or I can name this model. And then this one we can make manufacturer. There we are. Oh, I forgot another R there. And then serial. Serial. Okay, so now we have model, manufacturer, and serial attached to this, and you can change this so that it's serial number if you wanted, or you could just make this say man, with a period. Whatever you would like your information to look like is what you can do here. So there's that. We have our model, we have our manufacturer, we have our serial number. Now these are all dynamic attributes because they change. They're not all going to be the same thing, but they can be set to static if it's something that is going to be the same in every instance. So now that we have those set, that's the 3 different things that's going to pull from Razor and put on the sheet for you. Now moving forward to transformations, this is a part of the system that you don't always need to do. So if this is a part that you're not going to need in your current one, you can hit next and go right by it and not have to set it up. But we're going to select the go back 1 step, and we're going to use this here. So there's a few different situations where this is pretty useful. So if there's a way that you need data to be shown for a particular customer, or if there's discrepancies and differences in your system, they can be manipulated here. So like if I say new rule, and for mapping, we select one of the things that we just set up. So let's go down to manufacturer. And for the rule, we're going to set whatever you want, what it wants to look at. So we're going to say equals to. So now what I put in the value, if that's equal to the manufacturer, then it's going to pull this in. So let's say del. If the value is lowercase del, we want to transform it to del with a capital D. So it will take anything in the system that was inventoried with the manufacturer being lowercase del, and it will change it to uppercase del. And you can make as many of these as you want. So once again, you can change manufacturer equals to, and then maybe it's inventoried as del Inc. in some of them, and you want that to show up as del as well. So then that will be there. And there's several different options, such as does not equal, contains. So you can use this to kind of snip your data and clean it up how you want it to be seen in this report. which is very useful for when you do daily or weekly reports that have a lot of information coming out of them, that you don't ever have to do it again. You wouldn't have to go through an Excel sheet and clean it up because it would have been done for you. And if you notice something on an output that you don't like, you can come in and add a new transformation rule here, and then it'll never happen again. So with those set, we're going to move forward. Now this is inventory filter. So this is something that is going to apply to our mapping. So right now we're asking it to pull every model and tell us the manufacturer of it and tell us the serial of that model. And this is going to be for everything in the entire system. So maybe we only wanted to look at laptops, or maybe we only wanted to look at consumer electronics, or whatever we wanted to do, we can set that here. So we're going to hit new rule, and we're going to select our mapped attribute. So let's say category IDs right here. So category IDs, and we're going to select a rule. So equals to, doesn't equal to. Once again, these are those rules that were in the mapping and transformation side. So let's set equals, and for a value, we're going to select something consumer electronics right here. So anything that is a consumer electronics, it will pull the model, manufacturer, and the serial number, and anything that is not, it will ignore and not show in this report. Now, important thing to note here when we're doing the rules is that there is an or and there is an and. So you see up here, new rule, delete, and then or and is here. So let's say I wanted to pull a couple different things. So I'm going to hit new rule, and I'm going to set this as category ID again, and we're going to set it to equals to, and we're going to pick a different ID, such as lenses and filters. So anything that's a consumer electronics or is a lens and filter would be pulled out, and you can see that in the expression down here, rule 1 or rule 2. Now you can also have an and, so if we hit, set this down to and, hit new rule, you'll then see that it says rule 1 or rule 2 and rule 3. So it would have to meet one or the other of the first rule, but also meet the second rule. Now this is kind of a confusing thing, but it can be used to very specifically pull out information. And it doesn't necessarily have to be category. It could be the base image. So base image equals to 1. That means like it has a base image. That would be there. Or you could set it to the audit weight in pounds is greater than 1 or greater than 0 actually. So something that is either of those two categories and has a weight entered would then be displayed. So there's a lot going on there, but you can work with it to see exactly what you want. So let's move forward again. Next. Now this is going to be the schedule. This is where it's going to be outputting the data. You can set it to daily, weekly, monthly, at a particular interval that you want to set, or you can set it to manual, where you'll actually have to come and pull it manually. So let's say if we set it to weekly, which day of the week do you want? Wednesday. Okay, and then what time do you want it? We want it at 1 p.m. 1:30 p.m. And then you can set the start date. Maybe you don't want it to pull right away. You want it to start, next Monday, 2 Mondays from now. And if you never want it to happen afterwards, you can set an end date of, a couple Mondays later. You can set an email address at which you're going to be notified, hey, the demo feed report just got pulled. Here it is. And you can attach an FTP and HTTP address of where it's going to be uploaded. Now, this is notably useful for if you're outputting a huge amount of information that's your inventory to, let's say, like a Google feed or something of that sort. And that's one of those things that we're going to get a lot more intensive on in a video specifically for that. But you would fill out this information for whatever services you're going to be using, and then once a week or every day or whenever you have it set, it will pull your inventory and send it over there. Now, once it's done, it'll say success, everything's happy, and then you can hit save and exit. Now, the demo feed is there, and if it was fully mapped, you'd be able to simply hit download actual, and it would pull it down for you in an Excel spreadsheet.